What's up, everyone? Sorry about this cut in the first half of this review. Suffer from slight technical difficulties, but we're okay, so let's get back to it. I want to start off where I left off in the last video, and that is the likes I had with this movie, and I had a lot of them. But let's start with the one I mentioned in the first half of the review, and that was the scenes between Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, or better known as Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy. Every scene they had was good in some form. It was really interesting. There was nice moments when you really felt the connection between them, but most of them were just funny. They're hilarious when they're on the screen at the same time. One of the highlights with them is Emma Stone, or Gwen Stacy, is getting chased through a building, Oscorp, by a couple of guards. And when she turns the corner, she runs into Peter Parker. And Peter Parker decides to help her by distracting the guards, which involves them bumping in, spilling tea on them, tying someone's laces, and just chaos. But you can tell. But it's the scene before that when they're in the cupboard, and Gwen Stacy's like, "But sorry, I couldn't pick the Bahamas of hiding places." It's just those type of moments that really make the movie to me. They're just funny, and everyone else actually in the movie had great scenes as well. Particularly the guy who played Harry Osborn. He was really. At first, I was like, "Oh, is that the asshole from Chronicle? I don't want to see him again. He's an asshole." Kind of worked for this movie, to be fair, but whatever I say, moving on, he did a good job as Harry Osborn. Him and Peter Parker had good chemistry, and you could tell that they used to be good friends, but it's been so long now that they kind of feel weird talking to each other. And at a point, he eventually starts to grow on you, but then as the movie goes on, the relationship between him and Peter starts to deteriorate, and eventually it starts becoming a bit ominous what's going to happen. Is there any other characters now that stood out for me in this movie? Give me a second, try to think. Any other characters who stood out? Aunt May. She wasn't in that many scenes, but every scene she was in, I found it hilarious. Particularly the scene when she's giving up to Peter that he won't let her do his laundry, and it's just hilarious because it reminds you of any mother who just says, "Just let me do it. I don't trust you, so I'll do it." It's just a moment that you can relate to, but also extremely funny. And of course, before I move off the characters, Stan Lee, of course, the infamous Stan Lee cameos, and I actually found this one of the better ones. It was short, simple, but I couldn't stop laughing. And that was, he's in the crowd at the start of the movie when I think Gwen Stacy or Peter Parker's going up to accept his certificate because he's graduating high school or college or wherever it is. And when he does, Peter has the Spider-Man mask still on him while he's in his blue, I'm going to call it gown, and his blue hat. I never know what a bright word that is. And he says the mask on, and Stanley's like, "Wait, I think I know that guy." It's just moments like that. The entire movie is just full of funny moments, and that's why I always enjoy with Spider-Man. He's just a bit like, you can get serious, but it can be light-hearted at the same time. Now, moving away from the characters, let's move on to the villains, or should I say, the main villain, Electro. When I first saw him, I was like, he looked interesting, but he's not used to Electro. I know, I don't know Electro too well as a villain, but what I've seen, I know he's yellow, and this guy was just glowing blue, and I was like, alright, we'll see how it goes. And well, Jamie Foxx did a great job. Jamie Foxx, ever since Django, I've taken notes of Jamie Foxx. He's doing really good right now, but his performance as Electro was amazing. I mean, at first when you see him normally, it's like, this guy is pathetic, but you don't mock him. You feel sorry for him because they're like, if anyone's that lonely, it's just horrible. And of course, the people at work act assholes to him, which is to be expected. Most giant corporations like that why do they all seem to have an asshole? Do you ever notice that in the movie? They all seem to have that one asshole who just won't leave you alone. Moving on. Electro. At first, it really creeped me out when he woke up and it was his birthday, and he had Spider-Man memorabilia and posters and everything everywhere, and he's talking to himself like he's talking to Spider-Man, and I was like, well, this is not creepy at all. But the scene added to the character because it made you even feel more sorry, but also intrigued in how crazy he actually may be. But then it finally happens. He's fixing a pipe. he puts it in, everything seems fine, then bang! Explosion. Well, he got electrocuted, fell in to a giant water tank filled with eels, and these are some creepy and horrifying looking eels. And the whole thing just explodes, and you see him lying in the middle. And I'm like, well, here it begins. Then a couple of scenes later, it moves on, and the first proper scene where he actually shows up, well, I think the first proper scene is when he's in Times Square. This scene was one of the best scenes in the entire movie. He looks so frightened. Like, you don't know what he's like. Imagine being in his position. You wake up with these powers and you need electricity and just standing, and you're like a loner. You've been a loner all your life, and you wake up and you see this shit happening. It must be frightening. And he's just there, and he's just asking for help, and all the guards are, well, you can't really blame them. If you saw a giant blue man or saw electricity, you'd be a bit hesitant. They're all pointing guns, and you just know the situation can get out of hand any moment. It's like there's a bunch of oil and one match is all it takes to start the fire. And eventually he starts, like, he's slowly starting to freak out, but then he sees his face on all the screens on Times Square, and he's like, oh my god, they noticed me. This is the first time he's ever felt like he's been noticed by